Hi, this is Jeanette DePatty with Broadcast Beat. We are here at the SMPTE Technical Conference 2017. I'm here with Sam Bogosh from Axle. Did I say that right?
Close, very close. It's Bogosh, but who's counting?
Bogosh. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
But I said Axle right.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about what Axle does.
Sure. So we do what we call radically simple media management, and we make it easy for people who have a huge amount of data in this business, typically tens or hundreds of terabytes of storage, to figure out what's on that storage and find the stuff they need.
Okay, I have here radically simple man, so it made me think radically simple man, right?
Not that kind of man.
Not that kind of man.
Not with no apostrophe in
no,
this man.
This is
it's
media
just
asset.
M-A-M, ma'am. Yeah.
Media asset management.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So what makes this media asset management so simple?
The basic point is that we do a lot less than traditional MAM systems.
Okay.
Most of those were built for big enterprises. They have very complex deployments. They cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in many cases. And the concept is that you're going to stop everything you're doing, change it all around, and this new software is going to run everything for you.
Like magic. Somehow.
Like magic.
Yeah,
and
okay.
some of them actually achieve this, but not without a whole lot of work and gnashing of teeth and money. And so our goal is a little different. What we come in and say is, we want to do less than that. We don't want to disrupt your workflow. We will just ride on top of the way you already work. So chances are in your storage, you have a folder structure that works for you. So if you're a news organization, you have it organized by days of the week. If you're doing episodic TV, you have it organized by seasons.
Or if you're me, you have it organized by color and mood or some crazy thing.
Whatever works for
right.
you. And each post site is a little bit different in how they do things and how they name their files. So as opposed to saying, stop everything, we have a better idea, which rarely is, we say, we're just going to come in with our software and watch the files that you're already using and the folders you already use them in. And we're going to catalog them and make low resolution versions of those files and then put them in a browser where your broader team can search them and annotate them and make selects.
Now this sounds like machine learning here. Now is this where this rebranding of Axle to Axle AI is all about?
It is exactly what it's about. So the cool thing that we can do that's really transforming not only our business but that of our customers is that once we've made those proxies, we can ship them off to various AI engines and get back all kinds of information. Speech to text, like everything that was said in the video, facial recognition, everyone who appeared in the video, object recognition, right down to like the brands of the car that were in the video. It's pretty scary actually how much these tools can already do, and they're kind of in their 1.0 incarnation.
So are we auto-tagging this data?
We are auto-tagging this data.
Yes, I hate writing metadata tags.
Everybody does. Everybody does. And the analogy that I use is that up until now, and Axle's been in business for 5 years, and we have almost 500 customers. But if you look at the history of our company, we were basically selling people a slightly nicer, much easier way of doing the laundry.
A fancier data entry system.
Yes, but nobody likes to do the laundry.
No.
It's a chore, right?
I'm with you.
Oh, we make your chores happier. Well, it's like, I don't want to do them. So the biggest...
We're in Hollywood, there's a lot of substances that can make your chores happier.
That's true, and I'm not going to go there. But so the idea was we could make things a little better, but until AI showed up, we couldn't transform the whole notion of that it was a chore.
Right.
Now, it's no longer a chore. You push a button, the stuff comes back tagged, and you can search it to your heart's content, and it's actually pretty cost effective, especially compared to the old way of doing it, which is hiring a bunch of interns.
Right.
So now it's like you don't need a bunch of interns, you don't need a lot of drudgery, you just send it off to the magic cloud, and I mean, I joke a little bit, but these algorithms, the machine learning algorithms, are getting very, very good very quickly.
So who are your customers these days? I mean, who's using this thing?
It's a mix of folks. So we work with large studios like Warner Brothers and Paramount. We work with broadcast organizations like Turner, NBC, CBS. It's the BBC, both in the UK and in Australia. But our target audience is actually smaller teams that may not have even realized they needed this until recently. A great example is corporate post-production for training videos, for all hands meetings. You have all this footage inside corporate video teams and 5 years ago, they had a tiny fraction of what they do today. Churches are another example. Sports teams.
Huge video user.
Huge,
really.
Absolutely. And we have big ones like Joel Osteen's church, and we have itty bitty churches that you've never heard of. And then sports teams, we work with big professional teams, and we also work with college teams and with secondary leagues, and we even have things like the German national sailing team. Like, there is a German national sailing team. They have a lot of footage. And we also work with a company called Jalbert Productions in New York that does all the footage for the U.S. national ski team. So there's all this niche content that, again, until it started percolating up in the last few years, there was no good way to manage it. And really our grassroots are in those applications. It's just that in the course of doing that, we've attracted the attention of some of these really big industry names.
Well, everybody needs this storage and everybody needs this tagging. So talk to me about how this relates to something else that everybody needs these days, which is social media. Like, how does this tagging and all of that dovetail together?
Yeah, so the way it works is if you have well-tagged material going in, then when you push your content out to YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you're going to put it, right, Facebook, that metadata is instantly making the footage that much more valuable.
Okay.
And because if you just put it up there and you say, Sam's video, hope you like it, nobody's going to find it. But if you say, Sam's video, and here's a list of all the people who appear in it, hashtag, and here's all the cool things that happen, and then you can link to that and search it, and immediately, of course, YouTube picks it up in their engines, Facebook picks it up in theirs. So what we're seeing is that not only is the quantity of content growing very quickly, but the need for metadata in that content is growing even more quickly than that.
Okay, so we have to get down to brass tacks now.
Sure.
We understand that media asset management and tagging is wonderful. But
Can be. Yes.
But media is like Teflon, right? It's getting that tagging and that information to stick. So how do you guys approach keeping that tag with the data, right? Because it's like 2 rounds and it's gone.
True. So our system is very open, and there's a real intent to that, which is that we want to make it as easy for people to get data out of our system as to get it in. So we export everything as XMLs. We keep all of our data in a Postgres open database, and we have a REST API where people can easily build calls that will pull stuff out when they pull out the clips.
Very nice.
And the thinking is we want to be as lightweight and as unintrusive as possible, and we want it to be the case that, let's say you have our software for a year or two and you decide, well, I want to do something fancier, or my workflow has changed. We never want our customers to feel stuck.
You mean you don't trap us? You don't hold our data hostage?
Do not hold your data hostage in any way.
So cool.
And so as a result, it's there to be published and pulled along. That doesn't mean you're not going to lose it 2 or 3 steps down. There's still, as you point out, a real problem with that. But at least we know that our step won't be the reason.
Yours won't be the slippery one.
Exactly.
So I just have one more question, and that is, how do you see the media industry evolving? Like, what do you see happening over the next couple of years?
Great question. The big trend that we see is just the democratization of all of this stuff. I can remember when I was younger, you'd watch the World Series and they'd brag about how they had like 7 HD cameras in Yankee Stadium for the World Series or whatever.
Right.
It was like a big deal.
I know.
7 HD cameras. Now there's 70,000 HD cameras, right? Everybody's got one in their pocket, and a lot of them are 4K. And so that sort of upswell of new content and new ways to publish and monetize it is changing everything about media. So if we had to rely on old line media companies, our business would be much smaller than it is, but all the explosive growth is coming out of these entirely new segments that a few years back might not have even considered video part of what they did. And so that's the really big trend, and I think partly why SMPTE is so valuable, because you have all these people here that have been doing this for years, and out in the wider world, there are hundreds of thousands of teams that are thirsting for this information and for this capability as their needs grow.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for wrapping it up with me here in the booth. It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's Jeanette DePatty for Broadcast Beat here at the SMPTE Technical Conference 2017.